Residents of Natori City in the northeast of Japan slowly start trickling back to what used to be home to pick up the pieces of their lives. They carefully go through rubble to see if there's anything they can salvage.
We still have another two to sit.
With their hands, they dig out family photos, ancestral shrines, anything to remind them of the days before Friday the 11th of March 2011.
What I want to do is just go through and look through the void.
This was the scene that greeted Rescue SA on arrival, an apocalyptic landscape.
I cannot explain it. I really cannot. It's unbelievable. I've never pictured anything like this in my life. I don't think Jerry Bruckheimer film could come close to this.
I've never seen such devastation. We've been to many earthquakes, we've been to volcanoes erupted, we've been to floods. We've never seen such devastation. It was almost like a nuclear bomb went off and devastated the entire area.
You see boats, big, huge boats, fishing boats that belongs in the sea, but you see them right in the middle of a suburb.
In some places, estimates say the tsunami was 20 meters high and 10 kilometers wide. It engulfed Natori City, a fishing village, and thousands of homes were obliterated. The waves tossed boats onto roads and threw cars around like toys, a grim reminder of why so many lives were lost. The 9.0 magnitude undersea megathrust earthquake struck off the coast of Japan at 14:46 on that fateful Friday. The epicenter was approximately 72 kilometers east of the Oshika Peninsula. Analysts believe the powerful earthquake moved Japan's main island 2.4 meters, shifted the Earth on its axis by 10 centimeters, and unleashed a devastating tsunami. Japan mobilized self-defense units to help with search and recovery. Of the 85 countries that volunteered, 19 rescue organizations were accepted. Rescue South Africa was one of them.
The thing is, this is what we're going to be working in. We're not really going to have collapsed buildings. So for the rest of the time we're going to be doing this. And this is a pitch because imagine somebody's lying in here.
Colin Diner is a founding member of Rescue SA. He's been a firefighter for 27 years and has never seen anything like this. He's leading a new generation of emergency personnel from metros across South Africa.
You've got to be well equipped. You've got to come and make a difference, and you mustn't be a burden. And I think the big problem the big thing is that, although you've got to jump through quite a few hoops to be able to respond, I think it is actually important that the right teams respond with the right capacity.
And I think that's what most rescue teams do. They go to areas where the local people cannot retrieve and extricate and rescue people that are trapped because they don't have the facilities, the logistics to do so.
Professor Ephraim Kramer has been involved with Rescue SA for 12 years. He's also head of emergency medicine at Wits University.
There was a need to go to Turkey for the earthquake. We put together a team of amateurs and we went with our hearts and intentions of helping, and from then you now have Rescue South Africa.
Rescue South Africa was tasked with search and recovery. This required hours of searching destroyed buildings and rubble, crawling through tight spaces and placing themselves in precarious situations, especially when aftershocks hit.
Right, everybody, we've got an aftershock!
There was also the grim task of assisting the Japanese police in retrieving bodies. A few days of doing this can have an effect on rescue workers.
People that do emergency work, like these guys here, we talk about something called the switch. And the switch is something that you can be at home and you can relax and you can be a mother and a father and a brother and a sister. But the moment that you go into action, the moment you have a light, sirens, and you have to go to something, you switch. You close that off, you turn it away, and you go and do what you have to do. But sometimes in a situation like this, where it's every single day that you're doing it and you're seeing it, it becomes cumulative. And the guys then start doing that. Their morale starts going down a little bit.
It's very heartbreaking. You know, I wonder, did they make it out the house? Were they still in the house?
This is Suzanne Matiek's first mission with Rescue SA. She started off as a volunteer firefighter at the Belleville Fire Department in Cape Town in 2001. Like everyone else, she feels for the Japanese people.
Thousands and thousands of people have lost their lives, and a lot of them kids and old people and animals, and they just didn't stand a chance. The worst thing about this, the amount that we can't do. We feel so small.
Each person deals with it differently. Every person experiences something different. Because I've been doing it for such a long time and I've seen so much devastation in the world that I basically build an emotional wall around, so I don't allow things to affect me that much.
After 22 years as a firefighter, Colin van Niekerk has been around the block. He was in charge of the technical search squad, looking for bodies using the latest technology, including infrared cameras.
You actually got to learn how to read the screen, because if there's a victim, it's not everyday living. You can see a person's hand, but when a person's hand is covered in debris, you need to be able to pick up certain distinct features so that you can make out that this is a person and not just normal debris.
Using this technology, Rescue SA was able to bring closure for some, but so many others are still searching and waiting. On the other side of the safety wall is what used to be Natari fishing village. At the site of a decimated home, a family is looking for clues of loved ones. This man has left a note at what used to be his grandmother's house.
I am looking for Tomiko Aidawa, my grandmother's sister. We had a house here, but it has been washed away. Please contact us if anyone finds her.
Having found nothing of real value or any answers, they leave the ruins of their grandmother's house and return to their evacuation center. A typical day for the South African team began at 5 a.m. Working in harsh, windy conditions of up to -9 degrees Celsius was tough going. Traveling from the fishing village of Natari City, the team would make the 150-kilometer trek up the steep snow-covered Ogatsu Pass to reach Ogatsu Fishing Village.
At the present moment, this is a village that has had 4,316 inhabitants. 187 are still missing. We've got 3 places to search. We're going to start off now by going around here where there's a hospital.
The water engulfed the hospital up to the 3rd floor. It was a painstaking and very slow search. Everything had to be checked just in case.
Third floor has been cleared. If you guys can do me a favor and start on ground, please. We need you to work on ground.
There were no bodies found in the hospital. However, after widening the search, 3 bodies were retrieved under the rubble. In situations like these, the landscape tells a terrifying story of nature's awesome power. 170,000 people had to be evacuated over an 80-kilometer radius around Fukushima nuclear plant because of fears of an imminent meltdown. Everyone was acutely aware of the radiation dangers.
We are monitoring every single day, both the camp as well as the site where we're in, and we're well within normal in terms of where we're supposed to be. We have the wind that is going in the right direction, and we monitor that every day.
But the rubble and chaos isn't everywhere. Downtown Sendai City shows little signs of the catastrophe. The only clues are the state of emergency and endless queues for food. It showcases the resilience of a nation all too familiar with earthquakes. Fuel has been rationed to 2,000 yen, that's roughly 140 rand a day. Here, a mother and daughter are on their way to collect fuel by bicycle. They're among millions affected by the shortages. On the final day of the mission, the team searched the port of Takajo City in the Miyagi prefecture. Here, cars had been waiting to be loaded onto ships for export. A search of the vehicles found a body trapped in a car pinned against a pylon.
So we needed to get in there, make the area safe, cut a beam off the pylon. Then we had to cut the roof open, and then he was still trapped slightly in the car. So that was really a question of cutting away, pieces of metal until we were able to release him. And the operation took around 2 hours.
Despite the hardship and restrictions, the Rescue SA team remained positive as they supported each other. Sometimes a little bit of humor helped.
A couple of the guys in the Maldives decided I look like Bridget the Midget, who is a cartoon character. Apparently she's an assassin who doesn't take nonsense from anybody.
Now and then we crack a joke or two, just especially if you identify one of the members now starting to be quiet and starting to be emotional, then we address him, we basically approach him and don't leave him alone.
Ruben Reuters has been a paramedic in the Free State for 10 years. He specializes in urban search and rescue.
The team is very, very positive. The team leader is doing a very good job keeping the team together. The emotions are basically there, but we've been well briefed as to how to deal with our emotions. But the spirit is high.
There will be some good humor and there will be some bad humor that comes out of a situation like this, predominantly from rescue teams that are exposed to very, very bad situations.
They're doing a very important job, that people appreciate what they're doing. Both the people here, the people back home know what they're doing. They mustn't dip down, they must carry on doing it. We're not rescuing live people, we're taking out dead people, but that's just as important.
I always say that the measure of our success is were we able to operate as a professional urban search and rescue team, and I think that's what we did, and that's what makes it a success. And then also, you know, there's certain families in this country that owe the fact that they are able to deal with the deaths of their people to this team, and I think that for me is important.